Now going to go, well, stick with live pictures, in fact, live conversations anyway. South Africa has a long-standing love-hate relationship with alcohol, as we've seen the past couple of days. As lockdown level 3 came into effect Monday, social media has been abuzz with clips of snaking queues outside liquor outlets and some dancing in celebration. A couple of bands we saw. We now explore the relationship that our society has with alcohol. Maurice Smithers, Director of the Southern African Alcohol Policy Alliance in South Africa. Maurice, thank you indeed for joining us. Speak to us. We saw Monday morning, I was out in the streets at 4 a.m. There were already queues of people waiting at some liquor outlets. The love-hate relationship we have with our triple is quite a big one.
Yep. No, it is indeed we do indeed seem to have this love-hate relationship with liquor in South Africa. But it is a worrying one, and some of the things that have happened since Monday, in fact, have been very disturbing as people have suddenly gone back into drinking alcohol again. I mean, you've talked about the long queues outside liquor outlets with no physical distancing, for example, but we've also heard that people are buying very large quantities, either for stockpiling or for resale. We've got reports that there are unlicensed outlets, such as shebeens, that have started selling again, and the regulations don't allow that. We've heard numerous reports of drunken driving. In fact, as early as around 10 a.m. on Monday morning, there was a vehicle that crashed in Innerdale,
Yep.
and with drunken people driving it. In Athlone, there was a death of a young man killed by a drunken driver. Apparently, one of the people in the car was allegedly a drunken police officer. And it is said that actually when they knocked this guy down, they tried to drag his body into the bushes to hide it. But luckily somebody saw it, and that's how it got caught out.
Yeah.
The ICU in Groote Schuur Hospital, they had a drunken driver and a drunk pedestrian admitted into the ICU unit within 24 hours, actually. There's been a doubling of admissions to Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital, all liquor-related, and 150% increase in admissions to a hospital in Northwest, also liquor-related. So, you know, I mean, it is the early days, and I suppose there would have been a spike of that nature, but this is a real problem.
Yeah, I think that was the question I was going to ask you there, Maurice, because we did see some stats that Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital, just outside of Soweto, saying they've doubled their ICU intake just in a couple of days since the alcohol was eased, or the reselling of alcohol was eased for South Africans. What does this now say to us as South Africans pre-lockdown and now after the lockdown?
Well, I think pre-lockdown, it says to us that we didn't do enough we haven't been doing enough to control the use of alcohol and to help to reduce alcohol-related harm. And it's not as if we don't actually have the policies in place. We have a new national liquor policy from 2016, which is based on the World Health Organization's global strategy for reducing alcohol harm of 2010, with some very good recommendations in it. We also have legislation which has been pending, one since 2013, another since 2015, another since 2017, all of which would actually help to decrease the amount of alcohol harm in the country.
Yeah.
And our call is for government to actually begin to implement these pieces of legislation. One of them is the Road Traffic Amendment Bill. And in fact, we believe that that is going to go to Parliament this year. And that's a very good sign.
Yeah.
And that is going to reduce the blood alcohol content level to 0, which means that if you drive, you don't drink. If you drink, you don't drive.
Yeah.
And then there's the Liquor Amendment Bill of 2016-2017, which will also introduce new legislation that will help to control liquor.
Yeah.
And we're very happy that a number of political figures have, over the last while, admitted that there's a need
Yeah.
for better regulation post-COVID.
Yeah. Maurice Smithers, Director of Southern African Alcohol Policy Alliance in South Africa, thank you indeed for joining us. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, and that's how and where we're going to have to stop our conversation for now. And remember, in fact, that is part of the poll that we're running right here on the agenda. And what is your thought on alcohol sales? Should they stop? And should they be tightened beyond the lockdown? That's the conversation that I'm going to ask Maurice. In fact, for now, we take a quick break. Maurice, stay with us. After the top of the hour, we will come back to you because that's a conversation, as I said, we'd like to bring into, well, our viewers as well and get your take on that one. But take a quick break. Stay with us on the agenda. More to follow at the top of the hour.